I like to think of proteins as tiny machines inside our body cells, each of which has their own specific jobs. My research focuses on studying the shape and structure of one of those proteins, the LFABP. By understanding that structure, you'll be able to understand how the changes in the structure of the protein can lead to diseases like diabetes and obesities. My name is Hsu Wadi Nwel. I'm majoring in Biotechnology, and this is my final year. And next semester, I'll be graduating with Bachelor in Science of Biotechnology from City College of New York. I initially was a transfer student from Queensborough Community College. Plan after graduation is to apply for MD-PhD program of Chemistry and Biochemistry. I've always been curious. I always wonder about how our body system works and then why the disease happens. As I learn about the biological processes in theory in classroom, I become fascinated about what is actually happening in the molecular and the cellular level. And I wanted to understand how proteins, cells, and other tiny components in our body works and what changes to those processes lead to disease.
I am Ruth Stark. I am Distinguished Professor of Chemistry and Biochemistry at City College and affiliated with the CUNY Graduate Center. Being in a research lab is nothing like being in a classroom. You don't know the answer in advance. You have the opportunity to discover the answer, to engage with people who have experience in a field and stretch yourself. And I think that it's one of the reasons that students really like it. And it's also practically important because you're showing them where their career paths could go. It's a way of showing them the scope and impact potentially of the knowledge that they're getting in the classroom and helping them decide where they want to go and even where they don't want to go. Both are important.
I first learned about these undergraduate research opportunities mainly through the conversations with faculty members, my previous schools and my current schools. My primary mentor, Dr. Stark, and Francine, my supervisors, and my mentor, Imran, they always reach out to me whenever they heard about opportunities that they believe that I am qualified for. I also joined research-related information sessions and events where I met my other friends who are also eager to do research. Experiences they share, seeing people enjoying these research made me pursue these opportunities myself. ORCA is not only for science, but also for other fields who are at the beginning level of the research. Everybody can apply. CCFELL is mainly for students who are interested in research, who would like to pursue PhD or MD-PhD after graduation. Both of them are scholarships, a huge help. They have provided mainly financial support, mentorship, and also more interesting, it's a community of students who are very passionate about discovery. CCFELL will let you connect the opportunities that will help you prepare for your future goals.
My name is Imran Khan. I'm a Postdoc fellow and I'm working under Dr. Ruth Stark lab. I'm studying how the ligand, other protein interact with the protein, and after interacting, what the effect happening after binding with some protein, it's get leads to some disease, cancer, and all those things. So my job is to identify why this is happening and where it's a binding. So locate the binding position. Once we know the structure, then we can know the binding position and we can find some cure and we can advise scientists to make some medicine on that. She is a very intelligent student. She is helping me with assigning the amino acid of the protein sequence.
I am currently working in Professor Dr. Ruth Stark's lab, where I study structure and the protein's nature using techniques like protein purifications, NMR, and our new Creoptix Wave System.
Sue is a really integral part of our research team. She specializes in analyzing data that we obtain to figure out the three-dimensional structure of proteins in solution using nuclear magnetic resonance spectroscopy. And she also does measurements of protein-protein interactions, which are very important to the function of these proteins in human metabolism.
One of the biggest challenges that I first encounter when I first do research, it takes like a long time to get into the lab techniques that requires patience and then attention too detailed. And I have to learn to accept the fact that research doesn't always go as planned, and experiments may fail even when you have followed every step correctly.
They don't need to know everything before joining the lab. They have to reach out to the professor, show the intent and interest to learn, ask the question, be patient. A mistake in the lab, this is a part of the research.
Working in a lab, it's a bit different every day. Last year, I spent most of the time collecting NMR data, using like different computational systems, interpreting, and then analyzing the NMR resonances. Since the early months of 2026 until now, I'm still working in the LFABP, but my direction a little bit changed to the binding assay, how fast or how slow it dissociates with the other type of molecules. One of the accomplishments that I am very proud of myself is be able to interpret and analyze the NMR data and then define the protein structure by myself. We have our new system which measures the binding affinity of the two molecules. So it's a very new, and it's the only machine in the whole New York State.
In the case of Hsu's projects, we know which proteins are involved in the human intestine and liver, in the metabolism of and the transport and the ultimate fates of fatty materials that everybody eats, right? And we know that the outcomes can involve obesity and inflammation and other unpleasant things. It's very exciting to mentor beginners because they come in fresh and inquisitive and sometimes fearless. And that's important because you start with kind of a tabula rasa in a way, even though they've had courses and so on and so forth. But it's exciting because you're opening up the world of scientific research to them and letting them develop so that they can run with it. I've supervised probably more than 100 undergraduate researchers in my long career. Every person comes with different skills and different attitudes, and watching those skills and attitudes develop is a great pleasure because you get surprises. Ideally, a student will have several mentors. They will have peer mentors. They have different faculty and staff members whom they interact with. They will have people like me, and they have a different interaction with each one. That means that they can look at doing research at different stages of their development, but in different ways. It's not just a matter of teaching them technical skills. It's a matter of looking at their attitudes and what do they want and how does that change. And it's an interpersonal thing. At City College, we welcome undergraduates as well as graduate students and more advanced staff members into our research labs.
The MD-PhD program combines the two things that I am very passionate about, patient care and scientific discovery. I hope to care for patients while also leading to researchers that investigate molecular mechanisms inside our body. By combining the clinical experiences and the scientific research in the laboratory would allow me to ask more meaningful questions and then develop therapies that directly address patients' needs.
She has developed into a very important player in our projects that involve biochemistry and molecular biophysics.
Be curious, start doing something that you want to do.
Once you have get started, then it's easy to go further.
You have to try in multiple ways to multiple people.
And don't hesitate to ask the question.
Please don't wait until you feel completely ready. Enjoy the process of discovering new things in your life.